he's so misogynist that he wants to, what was he always say, protect women and make sure this and that.
Well,
He's his view of the female male species is the old standard, and it's not. You know what I mean? Like the woman stays home.
yes, but and I like I'm gonna do
I think that's remotely due to his faith.
I'm gonna do my usual shtick and piss off both sides.
Good.
So I think a lot of what he says is accurate, but I don't necessarily think that he's 100% walking the walk.
Yeah.
Because, and this is where it gets tricky, because the allegations are essentially that he has coerced women into basically, and they're not saying, and Tate has said some contradictory things to this, but they're basically saying that he, Tristan, and two other people, who ironically, from what I've been able to discern, are female, have basically coerced women into making pornographic content against their will. Now, and this is where it's going to be an interesting little like linguistic game, because I don't know that much about the criminal justice system in Romania. I did find out one interesting thing is it's not a jury trial, it's a bench trial, meaning that a judge presides and gives a verdict. Which is probably bad news for Andrew, because it's been well documented that corruption is fairly common in Romania. So depending upon who's paying the most money to the judge, that might determine the verdict. But I don't know how the Romanian judicial system or the Romanian justice system defines coercion in the legal sense. Because is this a case of, the infamous story where Andrew has said he did this, how he said he started his webcam company, is he contacted his 4 or 5 girlfriends, I think it was 4, flew them all out to London, sat them all down and said, this is what we're doing. 2 stayed, 2 left. And then they started doing the webcamming stuff. I'm curious as to what the legal definition in Romania of coercion is. And that's really what it's going to come down to. Because if coercion is just like, oh, well, I felt like I couldn't, then yeah, he's probably guilty in a criminal sense.
Yeah.
But if it's like, oh, he threatened me with violence, if the legal definition is threatened with violence, for example, well, then you're going to have to prove that he threatened with violence. And maybe they can, maybe they can't. I don't know. Personally, I don't think this is legit.
No.
Based upon just me really thinking about it and everything that's come out, because there's also a I think I'd read she was a former Victoria's Secret model. I'm probably wrong there, and I don't remember her name, but she's been kind of in the news recently, like online, saying that she had spoken with Andrew Tate prior on Instagram, so this would have been a long time ago. And he was basically like becoming very controlling and trying to coerce her into coming to Romania to see him. But then a video has also been making the rounds of her walking up to him in public at a boxing fight and him basically being like, no, I'm watching the fight. We can talk later. Like kind of being like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you right now.
Yeah. Jeez.
And and the interesting thing about that is she's like, oh yeah, he was trying to blah, 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 blah. But she has yet to show any screenshots of messages.
Oh yeah, that's what was it? Tristan, a couple years back. Was it a couple years back or was it just recently? He was in trouble for something. I can't remember what it was. I don't know. I'm not.
Well, I know that their house had been raided in April of 2022.
Okay. Well,
and yeah, that was predominantly Tristan. And here's what's interesting about that is I remember when that happened. I was like, something doesn't smell right here. And then sure enough, only a couple days after, Tristan and Andrew Tate had an emergency meeting podcast, and they laid out what happened, or their story of what happened. And frankly, their story made a lot more sense. This American girl came to a party they were having. Her boyfriend saw her Instagram stories.
This is it. This is what I was talking about.
He called the American embassy and then they sent the police out because she didn't want to get caught, so she said she was being held there against her will. Well, here's the thing, my friend. Assuming that rendition of the story is all true, which I wasn't there, I have no idea. I'm willing to believe this is, though. If she's being held somewhere against her will, how does she have her phone and internet access?
And also, the CCTV footage showed her walking happily to the pizza delivery car and grabbing the pizza and going back inside the house.
Right.
You would think she'd want to hop in and say, I'm being held against my will. Please take me away.
Yeah, or I don't know if she had her phone, because obviously she had her phone at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know, make a call. Like, it doesn't make sense, and that's why I'm more inclined to believe...
I'm going to tell my boyfriend who's going to call the embassy, but not me.
Well, the only reason she told her boyfriend that was because she got caught.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how it seems. I have to choose my words very carefully here because I'm a stickler for accuracy. So if I make a definitive statement that I couldn't possibly know is true, just know that I'm meaning that it seems that way, but I'm going to do my best to be as precise as possible, because the last thing I need in my life is somebody to come, well, you were there, you don't know. It's
Plus,
like, yeah, I wasn't there.
Plus, we have a segment we like to call "What Did We Fuck Up?"
Yes,
and
we haven't had to do it for a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say we haven't had to do that for a while. So